Hey, it's Coach Adrian here. I haven't always been this happy and confident as you see on my Facebook and my other social media. I've actually gone through a lot of heartbreak and a lot of personal problems before I got to this level. And I think that a lot of times when you see strong people like myself, they've hit rock bottom and they've gone through a lot of personal, valleys in their lifetime. I know for myself, I've hit rock bottom a few times, and it's been a struggle getting back up to and standing back up on my feet. I think when I became a Beachbody coach, it stemmed from me becoming a single mother, which was now about 9 years ago. So I became a single mom, and I started struggling with loneliness and depression. I felt like a failure in life. My parents were not divorced, so to me, I never saw that side, the divorce side. I never knew exactly what that meant, other than, I know it feels like a mistake, to be quite honest with you. It feels like you made a mistake because you're standing in front of all your loved ones and you're saying these vows, and then later on you're breaking those vows. So you're a liar. You made a mistake, and that's how I felt. I just went through about a depression for many months. I was struggling financially, raising a child on my own. And after those several months of depression, I started having anxiety and panic attacks. I started having to go to the emergency room a lot and going to the doctor, and get all of this medication, tons of medication, because I was also struggling with allergy problems and sinus pressure, which, gave me really bad sinus headaches. And when I had those sinus headaches, I also suffered from, the tension headaches that are in the back of your head. So of course I had to go to the doctor and find out what's wrong with me. And of course they gave me tons of medications, which made me feel abnormal. I'd go home and I'd go to sleep, and I had a 2-year-old at the time that was running around the house while I was sleeping, doing God knows what, sticking his fingers in light sockets for all I know. I have no idea what he was doing. And it made me feel like a bad mom. It made me feel horrible inside that all I wanted to do was sleep, and I didn't care about what he was doing. So I went to the doctor. I told my doctor I was fed up. I was tired of feeling abnormal. I told him about how I would feel better after pacing back and forth in my room. I just walk back and forth. When I'd drive, sometimes I'd hold the steering wheel and I'd lean forward and backward because that made me feel better. Movement made me feel better. And I was concerned for my son because I wasn't, being 100% there for him. I felt like I was stuck inside of my body. And when he heard that, he asked me if I had ever, exercised before, if I would consider it. And at that time I had, previously lost weight before, so I told him I wasn't a stranger to exercise. I just wasn't doing it at that time because I was, dealing with all these health issues. So I took his advice because at that point I was at my wit's end. And I didn't know what else to do. And I was tired of taking all those medications. So what I did was I borrowed at that time my boyfriend's P90X DVDs. And P90X was super hard. I mean, I spent about 10 minutes doing the first 10 minutes of the workout, and I just said, you know what, this is too hard. I can't do this. I did it. I stuck with it for a few days, and then I just, I didn't have the motivation to keep going. And so I decided to ride my bike. I started riding my bike around, but then I realized I am a single mom. I have to bring him with me. So I invested in a what they call a cocoon, a bike cocoon, and stuck it in the back of my bike. He had a blast. He loved it. He was laughing. Something about the wind in his face just started making him laugh, and that was the first time I remember feeling happy again, because I was making my son happy and we were enjoying time together. And So we would, ride around the park, and, we'd see the park, and he'd want to get off the bike and go play. And so even though I was off the bike, I was also spending time with him. And I remember feeling happy for once in a long time. So I got addicted to that high of, after you exercise, just that natural high that you get. And so I kept doing it. That was my motivation for doing it. The fact that I saw my son smile and being happy and giggly, and the fact that we got to enjoy time together. So I kept at it. And as I kept at it, I realized, my energy level was going up, and my happiness level was going up. And that's when I started, getting on the bandwagon with P90X, and really focusing on, exercising, because I was addicted to that high feeling and that happiness feeling, and seeing my son smile. And when my energy went up, I was able to spend more time with my son and be there for my son. And slowly but surely, I started experiencing less anxiety and less panic attacks. And when I experienced less anxiety and less panic attacks and less sinus issues, slowly I realized that I didn't need my medications anymore, and that made me happier. I felt normal again. I didn't feel like I was stuck inside another person's body, screaming to get out. And ultimately, it made me a better mom, because I was there 100% for my son. I had the energy to play with him at the park, and do all kinds of things, and not feel like I need to be sleeping. It made me happier, and a smile always looks better on somebody. So naturally, I just felt better all around. And when I went back to my doctor, I was so excited and happy about how I felt, that he told me I should be a spokesperson for exercise, because he always suggests exercise to people and they never take his advice. I wonder why that is. And that's when I decided I needed to help others. Exercising changed my life, and I wanted other people to experience that same feeling if they were going through the same thing. And that's when I became a Beachbody Coach, and I haven't looked back since. I always work out. I invest time in my day, because it's usually only 30 minutes to an hour to spend out of your entire day to exercise. So I'm going to do it, and I'm going to continue to be a good role model for my son. And that's why I became a Beachbody Coach, because I want to share it with others. And so if you're struggling with your personal issues, and you feel that exercise might be the solution, please contact me. I'm on Facebook, facebook.com, Adrienne O'Connor, and that information's below. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so that I can continue to provide these awesome YouTube videos for you. You guys have a good day.